Welcome to episode 1 of whatever we end up calling this show. We're in the basement.
Welcome. So for this first one, we decided to go pretty broad. So this is going to be our top 5 albums, just kind of whatever were thought of
Just
them.
5 metal? 5 metal albums.
5 metal albums from earlier today when we made these lists.
We thought of these today.
Yeah. I think I speak for both of us. These lists will change pretty much by tomorrow.
Other than probably
I mean,
some of them.
Some of them wouldn't change, but
Doesn't matter.
for the most part,
If you care.
if you even care.
We care.
We care.
A
lot.
So, we've been listening to some shit for a long time. So, we've got some things to talk about. So,
We sure do.
why don't you start?
All right, I'll do
Daniel?
the honors. So my first of my 5 albums, Nevermore, This Godless Endeavor. I freaking love that album.
Yeah.
First song I heard from it was Born. I saw the music video. I think it was on Uranium or Headbangers Ball with Jamie Josta.
Did you watch You're the one that watched Headbangers Ball between the two of them.
did.
Because I was poor.
Yeah.
Didn't have cable.
We went in and out. We'd have Dish, and then my parents would get sick of it, and then they'd get rid of it. But we had the TiVo when I was in high school for some of high school.
Yeah.
I recorded that show, so I could go back and watch all the ones I loved. And yeah, I heard it, and then I probably bought the CD at Best Buy or something, because that's what you did then. And what an album.
There was one dude working at Best Buy around those time that was like ordering metal at Best Buy.
Yeah, dude.
I bought Vader.
They
I
had
bought
so much good
Impressions
stuff.
of Blood at Best Buy for no reason.
I got Demiricus there. I just get stuff because it looked cool, even, and I'd usually make out okay.
Yep.
It's
amazing. No, that's I think that was my real introduction to Nevermore was when that one came out. I didn't hear Dead Heart in a Dead World until like probably weeks after this. After My Acid Words, I think they released that video or that and Logan and our friends you don't know. They were playing it a lot at Logan's house, and it was just like, holy shit! I knew about power metal, and we were already listening to Symphony X.
Yep.
And
so this was different.
Yeah, do 7-string power metal,
heavier, like
death metal, power metal,
so
something.
good.
A lot of cocaine, probably.
Yeah. Also, I own a Jeff Loomis model guitar. That's my main guitar now. So big surprise.
He plays for Arch Enemy now.
Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah, that's a dope. I honestly, like, I'll just say it right away. I don't have any Nevermore on my list, which somebody's gonna sue me.
That might be why I put it on there, because I was hoping to.
I didn't have a list.
I didn't want to pick. I didn't want to pick all the same songs as you.
Yeah.
So.
That's good.
That's what I thought it was a good start. Yeah. It was a good album. Great hair in that band. Great hair.
World Dane. Rest in peace.
Fantastic.
Fucking fantastic head of hair.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right. So I'll go with mine then.
Yep.
Number 5.
Pop over Linden.
Oh god, I hope we have like animations for that, but we probably won't.
I mean, I'll put that.
Trevor. But so my number 5 is gonna be Decapitated. Negation. The Negation. Yeah. Probably if I had to pick like a favorite. Just overall death metal, and it would probably be number 1. Everybody loves Nihility, whatever.
Yeah.
Fuck you say it. It's amazing. I mean, it's just like just a step.
No, they've got a handful of just perfect albums right there in that area.
But man, that one has the riffs. It's got the it's varied. It's not it's just not.
It was
not nihility.
It was kind of in their transitional phase, and
right before they got all proggy and weird.
Yeah, it's still super heavy, still super death metal, but maybe a little catchier, maybe a little, and still so technical.
I think it's
in the right way.
Decapitated,
so good,
was a band that kind of taught me that technicality can be technical, but it can still kind of lead you along and let you know what's happening rather than you having to do a fucking math equation.
Yeah, exactly. Also, brothers, guitar and drummers, brothers.
So they're always always the best thing that could happen to a band.
Yeah, there's 2 of those on your list actually.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes, there is. There's 3 albums on my list, all from 2008. Also. Whoops.
Yeah. So inadvertently, we both definitely just made a list of the song. These are bands we all listen. We listened to these in high school.
We were at
all
work
of these
should have been working and weren't.
Yeah. But you. It makes an impression on you at that age, and it
for
sticks
real,
with
man.
you. So
these are. I mean, I thought of like some of my most life-changing metal.
Yeah.
Metal, just overall metal albums I could think of off the top of my head. Number 1 being the one that I didn't have to think about at all.
Right.
Really, but.
Yep.
So yeah, but man, Negation.
Excellent.
Could move anywhere on this list to any point at any time. Really, it's one I literally still listen to the CD.
Ooh, I just thought of something right off the cuff here. Favorite track from Negation.
The Fury.
Yeah, I was gonna say
the opening track.
Dude, I was gonna say the Fury. That's my favorite
coolest,
too. That drum intro.
My favorite riff.
Oh my god.
The main riff in that song.
Yeah.
My favorite riff of all time.
And the way they like tweak it, the like second time it comes back. Oh my god.
Brothers.
So good.
Brothers.
So I'll jump back and I will say this Godless Endeavor. The song is my favorite.
That's the
last. The last song on the album.
Last song on the album I got into.
Big, epic, long song. It's the only time he hits the falsetto when he goes, "The sky has opened!" And it's amazing.
It's so gross.
It sends chills every time I hear it. I love it so much. All right.
So you again.
Back to me.
Back to.
I'm gonna kick it a little older school on this one. My favorite thrash record ever, the best thrash record ever made, the most intense record ever made, if I do say so. Fuck Slayer, Rain and Blood. I mean, come on.
Terrified my mother.
How can you do any better than that?
I mean, it only has the greatest thrash song ever written. That's Angel of Death.
I mean, easy.
First track again.
Yep, first track. I will say, favorite track though is not Angel of Death. I do enjoy Angel of Death a lot, but I'd probably have to go. Oh, man, it's almost a tie. It's either Jesus Saves or Piece by Piece. Those songs just have, from start to finish, just like Dave Lombardo just goes.
I mean,
just,
and
that whole album.
Tom Araya, when he does piece by piece.
Oh yeah,
nobody can do that.
No.
That's really hard to do.
It's so good.
Like I used to hate Tom Araya as a vocalist, and later on when I probably by the time I was like 22, and revisiting that album probably after not hearing it for a while, holy crap! Like that dude is such a monster. Everybody in that band was such a monster at the time. They should have all probably died in a plane crash after that album came out.
No, because I love so many Slayer records. I don't give a shit. Repentless is awesome.
Oh man, right for the
good.
throat.
Still good.
Right for the fucking throat.
Anyway, I'm a big thrash guy. I started on Metallica, moved into Megadeth, kind of got into Anthrax. Found Slayer.
You probably turned me on to thrash
fucking
a little more. Yeah.
Blew my mind. Oh my god, Slayer was the coolest thing I could find. Fucking Slayer. That's all I gotta
say.
Fucking Slayer.
I'm not the. I don't know.
I'm the fucking Slayer guy.
I'm not as vocal about it as much as I used to be, but I'm not a huge Slayer guy.
Yeah.
I do cherish them. You know, I feel like there's a difference between it's like, I would never not appreciate Slayer.
Yeah.
I didn't discover it young enough. I feel like I was already into more extreme things by the time I really sat and listened to Slayer.
Oh yeah, no,
It probably took me a while to really like get it. You know,
that was a big
so
thing.
Up my own asshole about Morbid Angel.
That was probably a big thing because I definitely heard it before I heard any death metal.
Yep.
It was the heaviest thing I'd heard at the time.
Yeah.
And it blew my fucking mind.
That's how it was with Marshall Tucker Band for me. It was the sweetest thing I'd ever heard at the time.
Yeah.
Those flutes.
Yes.
So, all right.
Any
cool.
flautists, hit us up.
I mean, I feel like you're beating me in like the points section until I get to this one, which is my number 4, and that's Meshuggah Obscene.
That is a good one.
I honestly can't think of an album that I've done more drugs to. And honestly, the worst of the worst. Imagine whatever you could think of. I've probably done it. Not heroin because you can't listen to music then. But like, dude, this album Obscene, I think is first of all like I'm Meshuggah. Just discovering Meshuggah in general was a turning point for me. Again, watching Uranium.
Yeah, that was how I found out about him too.
Rational Gaze, you know, and I found nothing somehow at, I don't remember Borders. I think Borders was still open.
Was it Barnes and Noble or was it Borders?
It was Borders, because I remember having to drive all the way the fuck out into nowhere.
Yeah. Okay.
Which, when you're from Iowa, is a big deal, because that's a long ways.
It is.
But
Lennon's blown up over here.
yeah.
Okay, so Uranium definitely introduced me as well, but I was an album after what you mentioned. I saw the Shed video. That was what that's what introduced me to him. So I had never. That's such a weird song to get into by them first.
That is weird.
And then to jump into the rest of it because it threw me off a little bit.
Yeah, that was a weird song.
It's almost an industrial song, like a little bit.
Yeah,
in the like delivery of the vocals and everything.
Hearing, this is where it becomes the Meshuggah podcast.
Yeah.
Catch 33. Still one of the most monumental things made by humans.
That's crazy.
But Shed is a weird song. Was a weird song for them to release for that album.
To do a video for it.
I mean, it's weird. Album, the label was probably like, what the fuck? What song do we put out? This is all just like a continuous movement.
Thing.
What do we do? So, yeah. But Obscene, I mean, Catch 33, I mean, that's an interesting segue because fucking Obscene was like...
That was...
the pinnacle. I mean, they did Catch 33, and when you get to Obscene, it's like... This is where they were trying to go.
That's what it was getting to, yeah.
And holy fuck, I mean, I still don't feel like they've ascended past that level that they hit with Obscene, and it's a real... I don't want to say it's a shame, because I love Meshuggah, and I'll listen to anything they put out no matter what, but it's just never been as mind-blowing to me.
I will argue a point to that their stuff beyond that was maybe geared a little more towards live shows. Because the songs that came after that and the Alive DVD that they put out and everything, I mean, they're just crushing live. I mean, holy crap. So maybe they shifted focus. That might have been their last best recorded album.
That makes sense. I mean, think about when they recorded Bleed. Yeah. They were probably like, fuck, we have to play this live. And that's
forever.
What Sugar said. Forever.
They're never going to not
You are never going to not play that song. That's like
like
your Cannibal Corpse, you play Hammer Smash
Face. Hammer Smash Face.
Your Slayer, you play Rain and Blood.
Every show.
If you're Anthrax, you suck. Well, that's a different podcast.
Podcast.
But if you're Meshuggah, you play Bleed from now on. After 2008, you play Bleed because people want to see you do it. And I'm happy that I got to see him do it, and I got to see Thomas Hawk fuck up on it. Yeah. Which it was because he had a herniated disc, which is just a nightmare. Oof. But it's like what an angel. What a goddamn mechanism of metal to play on tour with a herniated disc, and play Bleed and have your back feel like you are gonna die. So that's pretty awesome. And I mean, there's so many other things to say, and I can't just go on and on and on about one album. Dancers to a Discordant System would definitely be my favorite. The last track. We've only done first tracks and last tracks for favorite album.
I'd say Obscene off that album.
Yeah.
I like the title track a lot.
That's
really
just
good. Yeah, that was the only one I learned that part on drums, and it's what do they call it? A measure augmentation or whatever, or meter modulation, because they do the same thing for 2 measures, and then they move the entire rhythm over by 2 beats. And then they keep doing that until it just kind of lines up.
I feel like I can visualize
just,
what you're saying.
Yeah,
but I don't know anything.
They take a block that's their riff, and then they add 2 notes to it, so it just like offsets it, but the snare stays the same. So the whole thing just gets. Oh, it's so interesting. They're geniuses.
They just do it naturally too. They're not really thinking about that.
No, not at all. And the thrash guy in me though, Contradictions Collapse, best Meshuggah record, in my opinion.
That's also another podcast.
Yeah.
Who knows when this will come out? We'll have like 5 other ones.
Yeah.
So
the Meshuggah cast coming up.
I mean, it will happen. We're nerds, but
yeah.
So that's another one where this album could move anywhere on my list. Really, probably wouldn't be number 1 just because it's so recent. I guess technically, I don't know how to.
I don't know.
I had enough thought in my head, and I didn't really. But I thought a lot about number 1. That's really the only one I thought about.
Yeah, I will echo that. Mine are not in order, by the way. Other than our top record, that's the top record.
Chaos.
Gun to my head. Gotta say that's it.
Well, what is your number 3?
Number 3. Ooh. I'm going to go with a band I just saw for the first time last year, thankfully, before the goddamn pandemic shut concerts down. I got to see Opeth. Oh my god. Saw them in Chicago. Opeth is one of my favorite bands, and I will go with favorite album from them. It's cracking my top 5. Again, a lot of this... And I'm sure it's similar with you. The first thing you hear from a band is what really hooks you, and it's what you keep listening to. And yeah, first thing I heard was Ghost Reveries. Again, Uranium or Headbangers Ball or whatever the hell it was. I saw that Ghost or the Grand Conjuration video.
Is that on that album?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. That one.
I don't even remember that video. I don't remember
it's
any Opeth
weird,
videos.
Man.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
like,
sure.
There's like
something from Sweden.
There's like
weird.
some bondage guy in like just like a creepy house, and I don't know. It didn't make any sense, but the music was super cool, and I was like, all right. And I got the CD, and again, weird single to go with as amidst the rest of the album. I mean, Opeth is a band that goes on journeys with all their songs, so you can't pick a single, but that's the one they went with. But anyway, just such a good record. I mean, Opeth might be the most talented band songwriting wise around. I mean, just for the sheer range that they can have. They can go from the softest of the soft in the best way possible to the heaviest of the heavy in the best way possible. And just the way they can blend that, I mean, it's art. I've
never heard you talk so passionately about Opeth.
Oh, I love Opeth. Yeah, I mean, we're kind of going so one other thing about these albums, I don't really listen to these that often these days because
there's only like 2 on my list where I could say the same, where it's like a weekly listen
because I know them by heart. I've listened to them so many times.
It's in your blood, man.
It's just ingrained into me. So you wouldn't hear me talk about it that often, other than in this scenario.
I would go off Opeth. Again, another thing where I'm kind of eating crow here because I don't have any Opeth on my list either. Whoops. Again, but they were fairly monumental discovery for me too, but also I would even counter what you said about the first thing you hear by them being, because normally I agree with that, but with Opeth, my first thing I ever heard by them was Damnation.
Yeah.
Because so I had to listen to clips of Damnation on CD Universe in like 8th grade. Yeah. When a friend of mine was telling me about them, and so I looked them up, and that was like the first thing that pops up, and you could listen to like 15 or 30-second samples back
and
in
that's
fucking Disney, 2002.
That doesn't work for Opeth.
No, but this is like, I heard clips from that, and I was like, wow, I thought this was supposed to be a metal band, and then...
Right.
It was Damnation or Deliverance was already out. Damnation was coming out, I think, at the time. I sent my mom to Best Buy while I was at school, and she bought both of them for me. I had both of them at once, and that was my...
Oh, yeah.
But Watershed is my favorite by them. And that was not the first album I listened to.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And a lot of people are like, oh, like, My Arms, Your Hearse isn't your favorite? I'm like, the production kind of sucks.
Yeah.
But I agree about Opeth. They are, the fact that a lot of people don't like the transition they made, how many, what is like almost 10 years ago.
Yeah, and that's fair. And I do prefer their golden era where, they were heavy and melodic. And
I would even argue there are things about Opeth now, they almost sound like Ghost.
Sure. I could see that.
And it's those are the elements that I like because I like Ghost. Sorry,
but that's a different podcast.
That's when definitely a different podcast.
Kick Lyndon off the podcast. Kicking Lyndon off the podcast.
I'm gonna fucking I'll get Ghost. I'll get Anthony's Ghost costume and I'll wear it for that show.
I won't be here for that one. Anthony will be your guest host.
No, then he's gonna wear it. Anyways. So Opeth, yes. What was
fantastic.
You said Grand Conjuration is your favorite.
Oh, favorite track. It might be Bang of the Hounds. I don't know. I'll go with Bang of the Hounds. I mean, Grand Conjuration's really good too.
Bang of the Hounds is the only song title I remember on that album. Is there a title track? There's a title track, isn't there? Or is there not?
I don't think so on that one. No. I don't even know. I'm bad at song names too.
I'm usually good, but this is.
I don't think so. Anyway.
I liked this when it came out. I listened to it a lot, but I don't remember it.
Production's so good on it
as
too.
much production's.
Yeah, I will say Blackwater Park is a close second. I love that album.
All right, I'll take a nap to that one. Sorry.
Oh, man,
yeah, another podcast.
Hi.
Wow. Let's do 5 episodes on us arguing about Opeth.
You're wrong!
No! Okay.
All right, well, we will move it on to your next somewhat obscure one.
This is number 3, yeah.
Oh, wait. Number 3.
My number 3.
You're number 3 now, yes.
We've never done a show this long before, so
no.
Just watch out. My number 3 is... fucking Psychroptic Observant. Remember those parentheses?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
This is your second brothers band?
Yes.
Drummer, guitar player brothers?
Yeah, David Haley, Joe Haley, brothers from Down Under.
I'm a little...
That's how you say it?
You know what? I'm a little mad you thought of this one and I didn't. Like I said...
That's good. That makes me happy.
I made my list really fast. Probably the best band I've ever seen live.
And I haven't seen them, so you got that.
I got that on you. Oh my god, they're tight. Like, the guitar player and the drummer, and the vocalist, bass, 4-piece, locked in. I mean, just the most locked in thing I've ever seen. Saw them with Nile. It was amazing. Pretty small venue.
Well, that would be the best.
Yeah.
And Psychroptic is a band where it's like, they could play in an office suite with full lights, like just regular fluorescent shit lighting, and I would get so fucking hammered,
blow your mind,
and blow up my colon. To Psychroptic. Fuck everything. Every other band I would be so bucket list band. I only have like 3. And they are a bucket list band for sure.
I think it was a weeknight at Station 4 in Minneapolis for any of our Minnesota friends. So good. Mine would have been Scepter of the Ancients, because that was the first one I heard from them.
That was also...
Again, so good.
Yep, and
so
another counter to your point was that was
so
the first one I was doing. Honestly, so I will say that I almost put Scepter of the Ancients in this spot.
Yeah.
But the thing is, there is Scepter of the Ancients, which you and I both I mean, I probably showed it to you a week after
You did.
after I
Yeah.
was given a burned copy of it
Yep.
at whatever in ninth grade, and it was one of those like sitting in a car,
Yeah.
like listening to it. And,
Oh man, I was more of a guitar player at the time, even still.
that was your first guitar player.
Yeah,
Phase.
guitar player phase, then drummer, then guitar player again. But anyway, yeah. Oh my gosh, the writing on that stuff is just...
Chalky, the vocalist.
Yeah, the original vocalist guy,
One of the best
or at least the
vocalists.
one on that album. I mean, or whatever.
No, he did.
I don't
he
know
did.
the history of it.
He was on
If
the
he was
first
the original,
album,
yeah, okay,
and he was on a Spawn of Possession album,
Ah.
but it doesn't sound like him at all.
yeah, that's fair. So good.
But
No.
anyways, Observant.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
We're talking about a different album. Yeah. So anyway,
this is gonna be called the Lessons Learned podcast.
no, this is great.
No. So Observant. So Scepter of the Ancients. I fall in love with Psychroptic. Unique Leader in general. That was my big introduction to Unique Leader, and it was like
Yeah.
Psychroptic and Disavowed. Which I think after we'll do this, we'll do like a honorable mentions. Shit,
Yeah.
because Disavowed is definitely on there.
Yeah, I can remember. I had some honorable mentions. We didn't
That's
write
when
them
we
down.
get. That's when we're drunk and
We'll-
we just don't know when to end the show.
Yes.
So Observant came out after I had kind of. I don't know, not forgotten about Psychroptic. I was still listening to Scepter of the Ancients, but they switched vocalists and they did Symbols of Failure.
Yeah.
Which I was like, I didn't quite, and it's still the least, the album I listened to by them the least, other than Isle of Disenchantment, which is a mistake on my part because that's really, really good, and I just forget about it all the time. Sweet album art. But
Yeah.
Symbols of Failure, I wasn't into that vocalist because for me, for the longest time, Psychroptic was that band that had a crazy vocalist. I
Right.
mean, he'd do all kinds of things you'd never heard anybody do in that kind of a band before.
Right.
But you'd also never heard that kind of a band before.
Exactly.
I mean, everything about Psychroptic is so...
So unique.
This year, man, I mean, 2007, 2008, you had, like, Psychroptic, or maybe a few years back. Anyways, in this era, you had, like, Psychroptic. You had The Amenta's first album come out. You had the first Textures album come out.
We had
Like-
Necrophagist, Epitaph.
Yeah.
You
Like,
know, there's, like,
2003, let's say
technical-
2003 to 2008.
Technical death metal.
Dude,
heaven.
I mean, technical
Yeah.
weird death metal.
Decapitated.
Like, that's
I
when I
mean,
discovered Gojira.
Gojira.
Like, when Gojira was
Oh,
heavy.
my God.
You
Oh,
fucking,
fuck.
you fucking loser ass nerds
Dude.
that listen to Mastodon Gojira now. Anyways, that's
Can I
sorry.
switch out, like... I'm gonna have to switch out Opeth for Gojira. I forgot about him. I made this list way too fast.
Okay, well, let's.
All right, we're gonna revisit this. There's gonna be another episode.
We'll do the
it'll be
Gojira
our
podcast.
actual top 5. Once we've thought about it.
We'll just put an asterisk by
Yeah,
Opeth.
there
Poor
we go.
Opeth. They just been shit
go-
on this whole show.
Gojira the link instead. Whatever.
So,
anyway,
yeah, you own the live album. I don't.
I do.
We used to watch their live album on a wall in the shop.
Yeah, but previously we would watch it in your living room on a crappy TV,
Holy
and we
shit.
would jump around the living room because there were
we
like 3
broke.
couches, and we would just be jumping off the couches in a circle.
We broke.
and circle pitting.
We broke a coffee table
Yeah,
one night.
coffee tables broke.
Watching The Link Alive.
We
That was the night I jumped
Yeah.
off the wall. And
Yeah.
there were shoe prints on the wall for years.
They
They're
were high.
They were really
dude,
high.
he got his feet up.
I
there.
jumped off the
Dude.
couch and I
Yeah,
hit the wall
off the couch,
first.
wall ride.
I don't even remember
Dude.
what happened. Anyways,
magnificent.
so yes, Gojira, but back to this era.
Anyway, Psychroptic.
A lot of crazy stuff. But Observant came out, and I remember those were still MySpace days. Oh yes, sorry, 2008 Scar Symmetry Holographic Universe.
Apparently, we're gonna do a 2008 episode.
Oh, that'd be
right.
a really good idea.
There we go. 2008 episode coming up.
So
let's
yeah, so Observant came out, and I don't know what it was. I don't know why. But I listened to a track, and it was just like bang. For whatever reason, it was speaking to me again. The vocalist kind of found like his pocket, and I think that's
Yeah.
kind of sometimes a thing with something like a new vocalist where it's like there's their first album, but then like the next album they're on where it's like bang, they've been in the band for like 2 years on average, and things are rolling, and
He
kind of
found his voice.
joke of the show.
That's awful. Yeah. I'll see myself out.
So, yeah, man, I love every single. I guess by the time we're getting to 3,
Yeah.
spot 3, this is where you can start to be like, I love every single fucking song.
Oh yeah.
Can I pick a favorite song on this? Yes, but I shouldn't. I mean, because I always say, again, same thing as before, track 1, first fucking song on this record, jams so hard. It literally, it encompasses every single kind of groove and every kind of riff you hear on the album.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they really considered how they laid the track list out or what.
I think so.
But
And I think that was the single too. Like they did a music video
because
for
this
it.
was the first song I
They
heard.
did a video, yeah.
And dude,
it was
that is
really good video.
It
Yeah, it's
grooves
cool. Yeah.
so much, and then even like you go through the album, and then you hit the last song, which is Initiate.
Oh, that's the one I'm thinking of. That's the one that was the video.
That
Never mind.
they did a video
Initiate,
for that.
that's mine.
That was cool. They were
That's
just
my
like in an
song.
abandoned house. And
Yeah,
it was really well
cool.
done. Good video.
Yeah.
But Initiate is like the weirdest song on the album, and they end it, but it still has a really good groove. It's the last song you get into on
So
that
good.
record. I would say by average, that's probably the last one you get into.
It's the last song on the album.
It's weird. No, I mean, look, that's not always how it happens.
Yeah.
But like it. But I would almost. I'm gonna assume because every other song has like a hook. This album has hooks.
It does.
It has hooks. Every song has a hook.
Yeah.
And that is so important. And I think there's so many bands that are like, we're not gonna like use hooks. We're not gonna write stuff that's catchy. And this is, to me, like they kind of touched on it on Scepters, but Observant was Psychroptic really figuring out hooks, because there is none on Symbols of Failure. There's nothing memorable other than maybe the first or the second track on that record.
Yeah.
But dude, Observant hooked me. I remember I probably took like a year or 2 break from it at most. And I remember going back to it and being like, oh, I remember every single inch of this. I remember every bit of that record, and the CD. I wish that was one I should have brought. The album art is so faded from sitting in my Jeep when I had my 91 Jeep Cherokee.
Yeah.
Sat in my Jeep for like 2 years and is all faded. It looks like an old VHS movie out of an old video store. That's set for years. And man, it's. I mean, I decided this was on my top, at least my top 3, as of probably 5 or 6 years ago. I can remember this being on a list I made, and it was. Damn.
Fair. Best band of Seedline. Real close though. Goes Europe. They might be tied. Anyway, let's move on. We talked about them a lot.
Number 2.
Our 2 second top from the
Camp Dan.
So this one I would argue is almost tied for my first one, but I have to put it second, I guess. Gun to my head, I'm putting it second.
A lot of guns to your head. What do you do at work?
Put guns to my head.
It works for the government.
Anyways,
Anyways,
can't talk about that.
Nope.
So Fear Factory, Digimortal. I get it. You like demanufactured better. Whatever.
You're probably 40 and listen to Slipknot now.
You like obsolete better. I get it. I've heard it. Every time I tell people that this is my favorite album from them, they're like, "Oh, I like this other one better."
That's what I've been waiting for.
Like, dude, I get it. I get it so much.
I love it. No, keep going.
But
I
get it. I get it.
Obsolete's not as cool.
Not as cool.
This is
Production level, songwriting level, catchiness.
It's everything. It is the Fear Factory album.
And I think a big part of that is, like we talked about, a lot of people heard Demanufactured and Obzen And then, 2 albums later, they've heard that sound for so long that maybe they got tired on it. But this is the first thing I heard. Again, saw the music video for Linchpin. It blew my, 12-year-old mind?
Adolescent mind.
13-year-old mind. I was pretty young, still when this was brand new. I think it was 05 or 04 or something like that.
When it was brand new, I think this came out 2001.
2001, yeah, you're right. Never 2001. So yeah,
you may have heard it for the first time.
Younger, anyway, and oh my gosh, like the industrial aspect, the double kicks. I mean, that was like around the time I learned what a double kick was. Mm-hmm. I remember our friend Bob explained what a double kick was. He told me that, and I just like couldn't get it. And then he explained it, and then he mimed it out, and it made sense. Listening to Metallica and Megadeth and stuff, and then this stuff, it was obvious like that's what they're doing. I mean, if you don't know music and you hear that, you're just like, oh, they're just like recording a machine gun. Like, you're I don't even know what I don't know what this is.
When I hear how stupid I was.
Yeah.
When I first,
I know this story.
Yeah, when this will be revisit this during our number 1 spot. When I first heard double kick, I thought it was the bass.
Yep.
I thought it was because I was really into Korn as a child, and I was like, wow, that bassist is really fast.
Really fast. Yeah. Real fast.
7th grade, I was such a stupid idiot. So yeah, no, similar things. You don't know even understand what you're hearing.
Yep. But the big thing with this album, the other big thing is I'd say it's the reason I play drums. I mean, or not the reason I play them, but the reason I got good at them, maybe, or something.
Raymond Herrera is to blame?
Yeah, he's to blame for my drumming style 100%. I can play this album on drums front to back, and I did it for years. Like, that's just what I would do. If I was going to go practice, I'd just put my headphones on, play through that album. Like, it's just under an hour. So that's a hell of a workout. I mean, a lot of footwork.
How about another band that understood how to incorporate pop elements?
Yeah,
into metal.
I mean,
industrial metal. Even you fucking nerds. Industrial fucking.
I would say more metal than industrial.
Oh no, absolutely.
So much more.
But I mean,
it's got all that. And I'm surprised I didn't put Static X on this list because they're way up there also for me. But
that's another show.
That's another show. He can kick me off that one or something.
No, I like Static X.
Yeah.
I found him one of the records that he bought. So
yeah, that's true.
Cheers to me.
Thank you, my friend. But Fear Factory Digimortal. Boy, this is I know where you were at just a minute ago. Favorite track is not an easy thing to pick.
You can't.
How do you pick a favorite song?
I would if I had to pick one, and this is me breaking my last point, is I'd probably say that they're the title track.
Linchpin? Oh,
is there a title track? Digimortal is a song, right?
No.
That's why Fear Factory's not on my list.
Swing and a miss.
Well, hey, but at least you're supporting me in what I said too. Yeah, it's hard.
It's
to
so
fucking
hard.
pick a song, man, because that's an album that is ingrained in your DNA at this point. Like, your first child or your dog is gonna also be ingrained with it. It's gonna be instinctual in your bloodline from here on. So I honestly, I didn't really think about what you were going to put on your list a whole lot. But when I saw Fear Factory and it was Digimortal, because honestly, I was surprised. I thought it was going to... When I saw Fear Factory, I was surprised it wasn't Demanufacture, because...
Yeah, it's iconic.
That's one...
Yeah, and it's
you
good.
put on a higher mantle than I do, because Digimortal has always been my favorite, even though Archetype was the first...
Yeah, and I do appreciate that one for what it is.
I mean, honestly, Dino not being on it, I don't even think about that.
No,
sorry, you fucking fat idiot. He's really good, but Fear Factory is that's I'm sorry, but that's Ray and that's Bert. Those are the two things.
I completely disagree.
That's fine. I mean,
Dino, man.
Like,
Dino is that sound, dude.
Divine Heresy was cool.
I mean, because Raymond Herrera's out of the band, and they made some of their best records. Mechanize.
Hopefully we never get to play with Fear Factory.
My God. You're gonna dog on them, and I'm gonna just
I'm not gonna be really embarrassed.
I'm gonna be so starstruck.
Dino's probably way taller and fatter than I am.
No, he's pretty short.
Oh
yeah, you'll fit right in. You guys will eat tacos together.
I will eat tacos with
and you'll have a great time because
be like, I remember I really liked Archetype.
Yeah,
that was the first album I heard. Do you remember that one?
Yeah.
But weirdly, the first thing I heard by Fear Factory was the Cars cover.
Oh, wow.
Because I heard it on Test Drive 5.
Oh.
It was on a video game. They had the video on it, even, which was really weird.
Huh.
So if you haven't seen the video for the Cars cover, check it out because it's fucking weird. It's Star Wars Holiday Special weird.
Yeah. But I will say, I saw them twice live. First time, not that impressed, but it was without Dino. It was it was back in the day, like right after Archetype had come out, and it was mainly that the sound was bad. They were early on.
Gee, I wonder where that was.
It was at Tinley Park, actually.
Really?
Yeah, it was a Gigantour with Megadeth and Dream Theater as the headliners. This was super early in the day, and
that was Michael's days. Michael's Fun World days.
No, it was. Yeah, I think it was because I was in high school.
Okay,
I was in high school.
Might have been before.
I think it was a little bit before.
Did you see Symphony X Gigantour?
I did. Yes, Symphony X was there
Michael's.
Also.
You don't know what I'm talking about.
They're in my honorable mentions.
Yeah.
That was the reason I went to that tour, to see Symphony X at like 2 in the afternoon. But Megadeth, Dream Theater, super cool to see when you're in high school. Yeah, cool venue. That's all I remember about that. But second time I saw Fear Factory was on that demanufactured tour when they did. I think it was 20 years or 25 years. I think it's 20 years.
They did that album front to back.
They did the album front to back. And then they played something off of almost every album. They skipped over, Hate Flies. But they even played a song off Archetype, and Dino played it on guitar. And it was really cool.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. That's my Birdsey Bell impression.
I'm so mad. I'm like so mad.
Let's move on from Fear Factory. That was dance number 2.
I'm gonna get a Fear Factory tattoo next. I can't believe it. I have a Gojira tattoo and I didn't remember to put them on here. Anyway.
Oh wow.
Let's move on to Lyndon's number 2.
I can't wait to see how this is edited. So my number 2. I forgot I had a number 2 still to do.
Yeah.
It's probably all the Fireball.
Yeah. We better get this going here.
Okay. Yeah, it's fine.
We're fine. Anyway.
So, we spent a lot of time on Fear Factory. So I cropped it.
Yeah.
My number 2 is another one right off the bat, I'm just say can't find a number 1 favorite track.
Yeah.
Because it is monumental. It is an album that changed my mind about heavy music.
Not to interrupt you, I'm gonna take a page out of your book, and I'm gonna go with What Will Become from Digimortal. The first song on the album, my favorite. Keep going. Sorry. We're doing this in order.
No, I appreciate it. You're gonna be the one that's gonna edit this. So.
And then, what's your favorite color?
Yellow and green. Anyways, my number 2. The weirdest heavy album the weirdest metal album that exists in my opinion.
So weird. So heavy.
Their first album is in my honorable mentions for sure. Ocasis is amazing.
Yeah.
Almost a completely different band. That had Joe Haley, I think?
Yeah.
Or David Haley, sorry. David Haley.
The drummer, yeah.
David Haley was on that one.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about an album that really changed my mind about how drums really affect heavy music. It taught me about blast beats. I mean, really taught me.
Yeah. They used them in such an industrial fashion, but it's still a person doing it, and it's just...
Yeah, but
oh my gosh.
I think So, I remember when they released this album, I didn't even know they were still around. Because they were such a what's the word? Like just a mystery. You know, like, what the fuck is going on? Because they start the first album with, like, all trench coat leather and weird makeup, almost like Dimmu Borgir, like mid-career Dimmu Borgir, you know, face paint and stuff, and but they're super industrial, and, you know, it's the drummer from Psychroptic, and you're just thinking, like, man, this is craziness. And again, if you haven't listened to the first Diamenta Ocasis, fucking do it the first time you ever smoke crack. I'll tell you, it is a thing you'll never forget in your life.
Or not. I've never smoked crack, and I enjoy it, so... whatever floats your boat.
I've known a lot of people. But
all right.
But the next album, like, the story about this album is so fucking weird, because they had, from what I'm to understand, and I didn't do any research about this to prepare, because I'm just remembering all this now, but
we did not prepare.
They were going
podcast.
Whatever. Woo! Adult shit. We
for those listening at home, we finger gun.
I think if you're listening to the audio of this, you can kind of know what's going on. But I feel like what happened was they had an album written, and they got robbed somewhere. I don't know if they were on a show or if they just had their gear stored somewhere. But you listen to the first album, it's a lot of synths, heavy synths, and like, you know, actual keys and stuff, right? And they had all that shit stolen.
Oh.
Like, I
don't think I ever heard this story.
Yeah, they got a trailer broken into, or wherever it was being stored. They had a bunch of shit stolen. Essentially had to rewrite so much of this album. And again, this is... Take what I'm saying with a grain of salt to an extent, because it might be...
He's elaborating.
It's not verbatim. It's like, just don't take any of this show seriously.
This is a drunk uncle story.
This is a drunk... I remember
some things
you came out of your mom. I was in 7th grade.
Yeah,
but they got a bunch of shit stolen that was really vital, and they were like weeks away from recording, so they essentially...
They workshopped it.
Kind of audibly photoshopped things to where there were some songs on this album that are apparently 100 tracks worth of, what would you say, input? I mean, like,
tracks.
There's 100 different tracks per track, per album, per song.
Yeah, 100 tracks,
and I mean, because they just put in, because they decided that the concept of the album was going to be, it's like a pirate radio broadcast, because the whole... I don't really get super into lyrics, which I'll contradict myself on the number one slot. But this album is very anti-media. It's very anti-information, anti-disinformation. And there's all these breaks in the album where it's like static and like shit. And it's all meant to be like a pirate, like domestic terrorists take over a radio station and start like kind of spilling the beans on everything.
So basically, it's Airheads.
It's a serious version of Airheads. The Australia does Airheads. It's Mad Max Airheads.
No, that's a cool story. That actually ties right into something me and a fellow musician coworker. We were just talking about this, and it's something I incorporate with Pitlord. I use a very limited amount of sounds so that you have to be creative to make something. You know,
fill the holes.
Yeah. I mean, it just makes you think outside the box. If you have access to everything and you can do anything that you could ever do, it kind of is overwhelming, and it makes it so that when you're creating stuff, you'll create it the way you're creating it. If you're limited and you have to improvise to overcome obstacles and stuff, you can come up with things you wouldn't have normally come up with. It really brings out like a different creative way of doing things. It makes you make workarounds.
It's kind of like creative problem solving.
Yeah, I mean,
engineering.
It's huge, and it's a fun thing to do. I really like to put myself in a box. I mean, the one thing with Pit Lord was, and I have broken it now that we're like three albums in, is I didn't have any cymbal catches in my drum programming. So like there were times where I wanted to write that into a song, and I was like, well, I don't have a way to do that really with the way I'm programming drums, so I'm just going to come up with another way to do the song. And more times than not, it came up with something more unique than it would have been. You
don't have those things to fall back on.
Yeah.
So you kind of go around.
It's cool, and that's really cool about this album, because this is my favorite album from them as well. Junkie. When I heard that,
oh yeah,
oh my god,
first favorite track.
Jesus.
If I could pick, if I was gonna settle on a favorite track, which realistically, this is such a weird list, because for me it's either been the first track, the last track, or no favorites. And for this one, I would say the first track. Oh, I bumped you.
You're good.
I bumped you.
They can see me.
So, I would say it would be a tie between the first track and the last track.
Wow.
On this album, because they both have these crazy build-ups that result in just like an explosion,
like pandemonium.
This whole album is explosions and just like you're grooving with it the whole time, even the weird. Again, this is an album that has like, I want to say 9 or 10 different people playing on it.
Yeah.
It's not the same drummer the whole time. There's probably 3 solid musicians on this record, and then they have a bunch of different like guest musicians, even on some vocals, which is really weird. They didn't have a steady vocalist.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They didn't have the vocalist that was on the album after this. This was so weird. And they recorded the drums, and I don't know if this is interesting in a way, but to me it is. They recorded the drums in an auditorium, in an open auditorium.
Very cool. Yeah.
Like I've seen photos of it, and it wasn't the Sydney Opera House, which would be, I mean, crazy, but it was a huge theater.
Place.
They recorded the drums in a theater.
Yeah.
And holy fuck, I mean, talk about like a modern.
And then they murdered them with samples.
I'm
making a joke because it does sound really good.
It sounds amazing, really, but you're right, because that's what happens.
There's triggers,
they do that.
There's
most
close
of your favorite
mics,
are probably triggers.
But very cool.
But I feel like that has an impact.
Yeah.
Just the album itself is the surface of the sun.
An ambience.
It is an ambient, explosive, extreme metal. You can't put this in any genre. It's extreme.
Yep.
It is just extreme.
It's a good way to
There's
put it.
no way to pinpoint what's going on.
Yeah.
But it barely has riffs. It's like speed and noise, but it makes sense.
Totally.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And that is, man, I would tell you, another one on this list where it could probably go anywhere on my list. But another one from 2008 blew my fucking mind.
Completely fair. That's a cool album.
The Amenta, Non.
Yes.
Non.
The Amenta. Oh, and that brings us to number 1.
Literally us. Brings us.
Us to number 1.
To number 1.
We made our lists separately.
To be fair, I saw your list first before mine was done.
So I'm original. He's not. No. There was no denying it. It wouldn't have mattered. I think we both would have.
Well, to start, this is an album we were both aware of when we first met.
Yep.
9th grade or so.
Yeah.
And we could have a show about just the music that you and I introduced each other to.
That'd be a good show.
But this one is one that we definitely connected on as buds,
Man.
Working together and going to school together and shit.
And again, this is another one. Actually, I did revisit this one. It was a couple months ago. It was still nice.
You have the vinyl. I mean, he has a really dope vinyl version of this that I haven't ordered yet because I'm fucking lazy.
I have all these on vinyl
You do.
on my list.
Yeah, you do.
And I have...
I wonder, I could imagine you going through your vinyls like...
Yeah. I do have Observant, and I do have...
Oh, you do have Observant.
Do you have the Negation? Or do I?
I have a Negation on a 10-inch.
Yeah, you have the
blue,
Negation.
Transparent.
And...
Eat my dick.
I don't remember which one I have. I've got a decapitated record. Anyway.
You have Organic
Hallucinosis. God.
The last
that's
amazing
right.
one they did.
Oh, so good.
Rip
Anyway.
Coven, Rip
Yeah.
Vitek.
I got some vinyl. We'll have to do a vinyl episode.
Woo!
Anyway.
That would be good. Yeah.
Anyway.
So
all
anyways,
right.
first...
Our number one.
So you say the first part?
Demu Borgir.
Puritanical euphoric misanthropia.
What? Say it with me now. Say it with me now. Puritanical euphoric misanthropia.
That was your reaction. Was
man.
what I had when I was first told about this record. And I'm saying record like a douchebag. CD album
it was CDs.
in very beginning of 8th grade.
Also,
yeah, this is
Lyndon's actual copy. Mine is in such worse shape. Oh my god, my case blew apart.
It opens up because these suck.
Yeah.
And
oh yeah, mine's still in my van, and it's just like
I don't even have the CD in here.
It's broke
because I crashed my first car listening to this album. It wasn't because of the album, but I definitely crashed my first car, and then I forgot.
Haven't we all crashed our first cars, though?
I don't think you did.
No, well, yeah, I did, yeah. Not just a fender bender. I didn't, destroy my first car. He did.
Head-on collision. Anyways. Worn out! I don't even have the CD anymore. But, holy shit. So you start, because we'll probably go on for this for a while.
Jesus.
I still have this drink to finish.
Yeah,
so.
there's not enough words in the English language to describe how frickin' good this
probably
record
more
is.
Norwegian.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to learn Norwegian to actually accurately describe it.
That's
it's going to take
not an episode.
The entire Norwegian language plus the English language would maybe encapsulate how good this record is. It's the...
Should symphonic black metal even have continued after this came out in 2001? I mean, should anybody have bothered to... Should Cradle of Filth have continued to be a band?
Oh, no.
There's an episode! Fuck you!
Danny Filth. They got a good album.
Midian's
too.
cool.
Yeah,
Anyways,
anyway.
but this is way better.
Oh my god. Yeah, I mean...
This is better than so many things.
This was one of those, I heard it the first time, listened all the way through it, listened all the way through it, listened all the way through it. This is one of those albums I dedicated at least 2 years of my life listening to it almost weekly,
Yeah.
I mean, holy shit. I mean, talk about just being proficient at everything. I mean, drumming, Nicholas Barker, another one of my favorite drummers. I would say I would play their albums front to back, but I fucking can't, because holy cow.
His blasts are weird.
They're so fast, but they're so tasteful.
Hi-hat.
He is
Hi-hat
so
blast.
tasteful. Like, he's playing fast, but not purposely. I mean, purposely, but
he's playing fast because he has to?
He's playing fast because he has to,
because there's already riffs. You know this album's written by a guitarist.
It is.
It's not.
It is.
It's not written by the drummer.
But he's so comfortable and that he can just tastefully throw things in, and it makes the album, in my opinion. I mean, it would not be the album without those drums.
He knows how to make the pieces fit.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it flows.
He's the Ron Jeremy of
so
heavy metal
fast.
drumming.
Yeah, I bet he's got a hammer cock. I mean, I'm just...
No, he's a fat guy with
he's
a big cock for some reason.
Yeah,
like,
probably.
It's gross. It doesn't look good. It's gross,
Yeah.
but it's there.
Yeah, Nicholas Parker.
You can open a car door with it.
Met him at Full Terror Assault because he was playing with Lockup, and our best friend Zach, his girlfriend at the time, just like went back behind the fence, like backstage, and we were like, man, we would love to talk to this guy. He's one of our favorite drummers of all time. Like, he's done my favorite album of all time. And Jen goes back there, and is a good story. She goes back to the security guard, and he's like, hey, you can't go back there. But it's a metal festival, and she's a girl. So she's like, well, but I'm gonna. And he just goes, well, you're not supposed to go back there. He's like, well, I'm just gonna real quick. And then she just walked past the guy. Just walked right past him, and he just didn't know what to do, you know? Like, do I grab her? I mean, she's just walking past me. Like, so she just walks up there to this guy, and he's a big guy, and he's from the UK, so, and it's, we're in southern Illinois, like, Kentucky border. It is like 100 and fuck degrees outside.
Hot as fuck that year.
And he comes down, and he shakes our hand and just talks to us for a second. Super cool guy. Did not like how hot it was out there. Got to meet him, though. I mean, fuck. Anyway.
We're in Europe. This is a temperate zone.
yeah, great.
That's cool. I wasn't there. I didn't get to meet Nick Barker. I was,
I don't know where you were.
Dude, that was a
And
wild year. Full Terror Assault.
I don't know where I was most of that year, but I knew I was there real drunk and shook his hand.
Yeah.
Nicholas Barker, good on you, man. And then,
well, I mean, so I don't even know if we made this clear, but you and I both have the same number one.
Yeah, this is both of our favorite record of all time.
He sent me his list,
hands down.
And I'll admit, I looked at your list and I made mine. And when I got to number one, I was just kind of like, that's it. Same.
That's it. I can listen to it front to back. Again, it's one of those, like, every song is great. Every song is iconic to me.
There's not one I don't like. Maybe Symposium is kind of boring. What's the...
Yeah, but... Ooh, I love that one.
Okay, maybe
Darkness and it's for the death.
I'm probably...
I don't know, that's a good one.
Pardon my idiocy. I didn't listen to it. I'll be honest, I didn't listen to it.
I mean, well, we can agree. I mean, Puritania is just overdone. Overplayed. I mean, it's super cool.
I mean,
but they don't need to play it every show. I mean, I get it. It's their hit. Like,
do they play it every show? Is it their Rain and Blood?
That's their Rain and Blood. They have to play that one every show, and I feel a little bad for them.
Yeah, it's a cool song, and it was definitely the first song I heard off the album, and it was the first song I heard by them.
Yeah, that was the first thing I heard too. But then as soon as I heard the other stuff, I was like, oh.
Right. I was like, oh, I get there's a bigger piece of the puzzle here that I'm missing. For me, it was the
same.
Still
super cool, but...
It was the same. I heard this 8th grade. It was the first... So I was slowly getting into metal, but I was still a big Korn fan. That was... I would still, as much as I hate to say it...
He's from Iowa.
We both are.
Yeah, I am too. $3 bill, y'all.
That's a different episode.
Another episode.
We're just gonna call this episode. That's another episode. This was I was into Korn by this point and had discovered like Killswitch Engage.
Yeah.
And like Cradle of Filth but Cradle of Filth was so weird to me at the time. And I didn't, and to even back up further, I grew up on like ZZ Top and Marshall Tucker Band and AC/DC and Rob Zombie. I didn't discover Slayer until later. I didn't understand Metallica until later. Yeah. Like that wasn't an early band for me. I went from radio rock to extreme, just insanity. And that was Puritanical Euphoric Misanthropia. Man. Andrew Russell's fucking I mean, my introduction to extreme metal as it was, and
then vicariously you to me.
yeah,
You know?
probably he
So
probably
that's kinda
showed
funny.
it to you too, but we met
Yeah.
after we had both heard it,
Yeah.
and we mostly listened to Puritania. That was like the song I had listened, and I was obsessed because it was. I mean, when you think about like being into nu metal in the early 2000s, this song would have spoke to you a little bit because it had
right
an
in
industrial
there.
edge to it,
Big time. Big
and
time.
it was simple,
Yeah. Oh,
and angry,
Yep.
and I was probably getting
Yeah.
into Mushroom Head
a
around
little
this,
anti-establishment
yeah,
and everything,
just mad,
you know?
pubescent,
Yeah.
just anger.
So I found out about it not through Headbangers Ball for once tonight, through CKY. And
Oh, yeah.
actually, that is how I found out about Decapitated as well, because on CKY, Spheres of Madness plays.
We didn't even talk about that song.
We didn't talk about Nihility as much.
A little.
I mean,
But
Nihility
not about that
wasn't
song.
the album. But anyway,
Whatever.
heard about it through that, which is really random.
Hopefully,
You know.
Encyclopedia Metallum's not watching.
Uh,
But yeah, no, it's. I mean, again, we can't say enough about
no,
this.
it was a masterpiece in production. It changed the game completely. I'd never heard an album where they did that many vocal effects. Effectively, like so
like the
well.
weird deep.
Yeah, when he throws that
hybrid stigmata.
he throws that lower octave effect on, and then like layers the vocals in such an interesting way. And then, of course, freaking Vortex coming out of nowhere with those amazing,
My first introduction to
amazing
like,
singing, amazing
what
clean
you
singing.
could consider power metal vocals, sort
Oh
of, and
my
compared to what I
God.
was listening to. Again, hadn't even listened to Iron Maiden, really.
Yeah,
Like this was Iron Maiden was after,
yep.
and then Andy was just like, oh, this is what these guys are listening to,
Yeah.
and then it was just like, oh.
Yeah.
But he had me listen to Seventh Son of a Seventh Son of my first Iron Maiden record. Didn't get it. Weird album. Doesn't make
honestly,
any sense. Still don't listen to it.
I'm in the same boat. I didn't get Maiden on the first time around because I found out about it after I'd gotten into so much.
I was
heavier
actually
stuff.
Queensryche, and then Iron Maiden was my transition. Weird.
Anyway,
But Demon Borger, fuck man,
Gripes.
like on and on and on we
Gripes.
could go. Every song is good.
seriously.
I would give special mention to Blessings Upon the Throne of Tyranny, which is like, you have to, again, album that has
So
an
good.
intro track, where it taught
I
you
love
the
it.
importance of of like an intro.
Yeah, I
You
just
know,
right before we record this, I watched my Forces of the Northern Night Blu-ray that I have, and the orchestra
Yes.
plays Fear and Wonder on that, and oh my god,
so good. I have
It's-
that.
I've never been moved so much by a
I
classical
have to bring
piece.
I should bring the record over here. 'Cause
Yeah.
I have that on vinyl, and
Oh.
it sounds
It's
really
so-
good. It
so
sounds
good.
really good.
It's amazing.
It's
'Cause
honestly,
if
like,
I'm not mistaken, I don't think they had an actual orchestra for that album. I think it's all synthesized.
synthesized, yeah.
Which is again just like a feat in
It's
its own.
something that introduced me to how fun a keyboard
Man.
player can be.
Holy
How fun,
shit.
how much synthesizers could do
Yeah.
then, and
They
I
can
didn't
do-
really understand.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean,
Like I didn't understand
Shout
pop
out-
music.
Mustis. I mean, that's all I can say.
Well, then I would. My issues with the band was eventually them being like, "Hey, Mustis, write a whole fucking record, and we'll just kind of lay guitar riffs over it lazily." Which to me, Death Cold Armageddon, fantastic.
Yeah, I
that
was gonna say, that's
another
on the same
mind blowing.
level.
I would put that just a shy level down.
So you're saying In Sorta Diable kind of falls off?
when I listened to that, I was like, "Wow."
I will counterpoint that with it doesn't have Nicholas Barker on it.
Yeah, Hellhammer.
Yeah.
Or no, it wasn't Hellhammer.
It is. No, it
on
is.
In Sorte?
Yes, In Sorta Diable is Hellhammer, and he is not as good as Nicholas Barker. Not even close. Hellhammer's great. He's an iconic dude. He like made black metal a thing with Mayhem, and you know, all that crap. But
I would
fucking
sure.
Nicholas Barker's better.
That's another episode.
Yeah, we're gonna argue.
This is one where we argue. Where did black metal drumming start?
Well, not where it started. I'm not saying that.
Fucking.
I'm not saying where it started. I'm just saying Nicholas Barker fit the band better.
Yeah.
No,
for real. That was. I remember hearing that he wasn't going to do it anymore, and that was the first blow.
That was it.
And I didn't know who Hellhammer really was by then. I mean, don't get me wrong.
On Insorta, is it the song Insorta Diable or yeah, it is. When he hits that double pedal part though, and it's like
consistent.
He hits that fast part on the double pedal.
He's not fun.
Oh my gosh. That gives me goosebumps.
We'll do an episode of this where I have you listen to an album that you haven't really listened to, and vice versa. You'll have me listen to one that you haven't listened to. All right. Because there's an album that Hellhammer played on when he was in a band called Thorns.
Okay.
This came out in 2000.
I don't think I have listened to that. You haven't. Yeah.
This is pre-puritanical.
He knows me better than I do.
2000. And Hellhammer, it was on the Thorns self-titled album. You've heard one song. Maybe not.
Sing me the whole
Just
song.
Edit this
please.
out. Edit this. Dan, edit this part out.
No, I'm not editing shit.
Self-titled album Thorns, Hellhammer played on. And it's one of the fastest.
Cool.
I mean, guitar-wise and drum-wise, we're like, what?
Yeah, it's like 1349 level. Like
totally. This is like Funeral. Right around the time 1349 got really cool.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
all right.
But you're right. Nick Barker and Demu. If they could do one more album.
And honestly, it's the Slayer thing too. Like they did Rain and Blood, and it's like, what do you do? You know, and they did Seasons in the Abyss, which. That song is like my favorite Slayer song, but it's the album itself doesn't quite have the same impact. You can tell they were searching for something else.
Silent Screams?
Dead Skin Mask. Right?
And Dead Skin Mask.
Yeah. Oh, Silent Screams is a lyric in Dead Skin Mask.
No, Silent Screams is a song.
Or Hallowed Screams.
Holy shit.
Oh boy. We're getting off the rails here.
Anyways, Demu Borgir, Puritanical Euphoric Misanthropia. Is it the most important? Is it? No, let's not say most important because we don't know shit. But do you think it's probably Do you think? Let's say objectively. Do you think objectively it may be one of the most important extreme metal albums to come out in like the early 2000s? Because it was 2001.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's the number one on my list. So
you know what else come out? You know what else came out the same year that had almost an equal impact on me, but I still can't give it as much credit, is Emperor Prometheus. Came out the same year. I don't know when.
Is really cool. Yeah.
But I would almost say, that
boy, talk about dream tour. Emperor and Demu, can you guys tour together?
No, don't.
For me, please. I'll go see it.
It's gonna be Hassan touring with Leprous.
I mean, I'm cool with that too.
I would be cool if you.
I mean, whatever.
I'd be cool with an Hassan and Leprous tour. Let's do that.
How about
Demu Borgir, leave your orchestra at home and just hire a keyboard player.
How about a concert? Anyway, we're not gonna talk about that.
I'm just gonna do drugs at it anyway.
Yeah.
It's like I'm going to file the sacred orchestra setup with drugs.
I would stay sober. Actually, I kind of have been doing that more with concerts because I like to remember them.
I saw Marduk sober and I was so bored.
Well, that's fair. I don't really get into them. Okay,
that's another
podcast.
Anyways, so
I saw Primus and I blacked out and I forgot the whole concert.
Wow.
And
you've seen him like 5 times.
7. But either way, That's the only time they played Tommy the Cat, and
you don't remember it?
I don't remember it.
Oh, it's in there somewhere.
So nope, I left. I got too fucked up, and I was gonna throw up, and I had to leave. So don't do drugs, kids.
Oh man, yeah.
So anyway, this is
number
our
one. Oh God. Oh,
favorite.
Blur that out.
Oh yeah, can't show that. Look out. Yeah, and talk about like not my favorite album cover of all time.
I bought this.
I like it.
I don't understand what's going on. Well, I mean, even
why did they do that? Like, what was the?
and you know the inner. Like, so, like, the book, the inside book is not as bad.
No.
But in Death Cold Armageddon, you have, like, Shagrath.
Yeah, he's got that bottle of liquor, like with an
Jack
IV.
Daniels in an IV, and it's like a nurse with, like, her ass out.
They were drinking when they made these albums.
For real, like, what the fuck was going on? Like, I can only imagine being, like, a black metal fan that's, like, in your 30s in 2002, 2003. Thinking, like, oh, what's happened?
Yeah.
I understand why Dark Throne started playing crust punk.
Yeah. Well, I like it.
Dark Thrones and that'll
good
be
stuff.
A
Real quick. Honorable mentions.
Yeah. Well, let's do that.
Let's get 5 honorable mentions.
Caretaker Fork number 1.
Number 1. God damn it! I love that record so much. Anyway, 5 honorable mentions. You want to go back and forth?
Shit, you want to do 5?
All right, 3.
Okay, let's do 3.
3 honorable mentions.
Because
back
I
and forth.
at least have 2.
All right, I'll start. I'll give you some thinking time. I don't know how this didn't make it on the list. Death. I'm gonna go with Human because I love that one. Death, Human. I mean, I love Symbolic. I love Individual Thought Patterns. I even love, Sound of Perseverance. I mean, fuck, man.
Neither of us had any death on our main list.
I know. I'm a little bit ashamed of that because, honestly, they're who made me a guitar player. Because I learned a lot of death songs. Chuck Shoulder.
Yeah.
Chuck Shoulder is why I play guitar quite a bit. Because, man.
He taught me about pentatonic scale, for sure.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's what I can say.
So yeah, Death, Human, and over to Lyndon.
Disavowed. Perceptive Deception. Well, it's not an album you know yet.
Yeah,
but,
I know.
It's one we gotta jam pretty soon. I recently just randomly came across the album on like indie merch when they were doing like a clearance sale, and it was like $8.
Sweet.
It means I ended up paying $16 for it. Thanks to shipping, but
Thanks.
So
worth it.
Early Unique Leader days. I was like in ninth grade, back to that era, 2002, 2003. There's a band called Disavowed and there's a band called Piamia. Both released albums the same year. Disavowed, Perceptive Deception. Piamia, Cerebral Serial. Same 2 guys writing both albums. It's a drummer and guitar player. I don't know if they're brothers, but like guys that have been writing death metal forever together. Essentially the same bands, Piamia and Disavowed. Like different bassists and different vocalists, but like if you listen to both records back to back, it's like, oh, here's version 1 and here's version 2. But it's very much like every riff, everything is to the snare. Like
you know what?
Early 2000s ultra brutal death metal, as they would have called it.
You know what? That's gonna bring up my second one, which I wasn't planning on, but just because you said that, I thought about it.
Yeah.
Broken Hope. Grotesque Blessings.
Oh, why? Neither of us. We should have both had that on like our number 3.
Grotesque Blessings.
Grotesque Blessings, dude. Nobody talks about the last 2 Broken Hope albums. Really,
such a gross.
It's always swamped in gore, but people don't talk about how great.
Oh, it's so good. It's
Loathing
so weird.
and Grotesque Blessings cool. is. I shouldn't say last 2 Broken Hopes because they've released a few since then, but they got back together.
Yeah.
Jeremy Wagner's girlfriend paid for all of it, from what I heard of.
Yeah, whatever.
Cut that, Dan.
Awesome.
Edit that out. But yeah.
He's not gonna hear it.
He's not gonna watch the show.
Anyway.
Grotesque Blessings, yeah.
Fantastic.
Oh god, Chemically
really cool.
Castrated.
Yeah, I can play that one on drums. That's one of my drum songs. I'm gonna do a drum cover of that here.
That made me want to do like
groove of it.
The first song on that album, dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
and like the bassist is doing like these weird slap pop things. Weird. That's good.
I fucked you up. Give us another one.
Man, I want to say off the top of my head,
I'm going right up the middle with my next one.
I'm gonna say one that I know you have on your honorable mentions, but I'm gonna say it because I agree with it.
Stealing
Symphony X.
Oh, the Odyssey.
The Odyssey.
Oh my god.
One when I looked at your list.
Talk about the best power metal album.
It's almost not though. I like that's the weird thing is with this album. The Odyssey falls into like a weird
metal.
Progressive. Dude, it's like neoclassical. No, I know you don't want to get like super into the genres here, but when you look at like the musical, it's like neoclassical, like progressive, like because it's a lot of weird. Dude, the Masquerade, like here we are, the Masquerade of Lies.
Yeah, you're right.
Like
Kings and Fools.
Yeah, I mean that's a bonus track,
Anyway,
but that's a lot more what Symphony X was doing for the longest time. No, it was just a bonus track.
Oh, it was a bonus track.
Yeah.
Okay, because I thought that was off one of their first.
But the Odyssey is
the Odyssey, man. Inferno. The first time you hear Inferno, it just blows your mind. The guitar playing. It's one of those virtuoso things.
It's probably
It's like watching G3. You know,
that whole album's
Steve
probably
Vai.
the albums we've sang together the most.
Oh yeah, probably.
Like, and, I mean, it's like
It's
Russell
right up
Allen.
there.
Russell Allen is in my top 3 favorite
man.
vocalists.
So
of all
good.
time.
I've seen him twice. I saw him play the song "The Odyssey," and they encored with it. A 27-minute song. It was hilarious.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it made the night. Because I was like, play the Odyssey, play the Odyssey, play the Odyssey, play it. And then like they ended, and it was like, oh, this is kind of early. You know, like they're done already? No way. And everybody's like, one more song, and they came back out and they played the fucking
There's
Odyssey.
22 more minutes of one song.
So good, so good.
I mean that and Meshuggah I, the two best 20-minute songs ever written.
Yep, there you go.
I would put the Odyssey ahead of I, just because it's legible,
too, but
it's a real song.
Anyway, all right, you got me there. I was just gonna say my next one though, right up the middle, Metallica and Justice for All. I like that's the accessible metal band. They were on the radio. You could hear them. So, like, ever since I can remember, like, as a little kid, if Metallica would come on the radio, I would ask my parents to crank it up. My dad would. My mom wouldn't. But my dad would crank the stereo in the car if I asked him to and Metallica came on. And I'm talking, like, 7, 8 years old, something like that. I'm a little kid, and I'm just, like, thrashing to this shit.
I don't think I even heard Metallica that young.
I heard it very young.
Just by chance.
Because we could listen to it, whatever it was, 97X or... No, it wasn't 97X.
93.5.
Oh, yeah, it was 93.5, which is funny because it's back now.
Yeah, it is.
But anyway, and they would do the Metallica at 10, I think is what it was.
And mandatory Metallica on Mondays.
They'd play 3 Metallica songs back to back.
That's how I heard Ride Lightning.
Yep.
For the first time.
There you go.
I'd never heard.
See?
I was like, this sounds so weird because I've only heard the Black album.
Such a young kid, so life changed, you know.
And you could tell how young they were. Like, even when I was like 11, I was like, oh, what the fuck. So yeah, I definitely heard Metallica at a young age, but it didn't resonate because I was listening to Creed at 11, which is another show. We're gonna do a Creed show.
We're gonna bring Joel Osteen for Lyndon to do that one with. Anyway,
my own prison.
Yeah. Was that 3 each, or do you have another one? I think. Yeah.
I mean,
you get one more.
Do I have one more?
One more. Go with one more. Well, we're gonna do one more.
I don't remember.
End this shit at an hour and a half.
All right, I do have one more. It's literally at the top of my head, but
Boom.
I would
go for it.
Annihilation of the Wicked.
Annihilation of the Wicked, man. Lashed to the slave stick.
Yep.
Woo!
Everybody's first Nile song for the most part.
Yeah.
Like, if you got into them,
that was the one.
Around that, I don't remember what year that came out. 05?
Yes, I don't know. Yeah, probably.
Years aren't important.
Yeah. We're gonna say 2008 because all the other cool ones.
It was
earlier. Yeah.
Nile and Annihilation of the Wicked. I gotten really into In Their Darkened Shrines, but kind of just fell off. And George Callias got in the band, and Dallas started doing more vocals, and writing. I feel like he was writing more of like the lead riffs and stuff. I might be wrong, but dude,
who knows? Either way, it's
Annihilation
very
Wicked,
good.
that's when they got catchy. That's
Very
when they
good.
got. I mean,
And I will say of course, Lash the Slave Stick's probably my favorite, but the opening track, is that Annihilation of the Wicked?
No,
What's it
that's
called?
the last track. I don't remember what that.
I don't know the name of it, but the first track is
some weird Egyptian
so
bullshit.
brutal.
Doesn't matter because Niles
yeah.
the shit.
No, it matters. It's a cool idea.
Hey, what's your guitar tone? It's fucking alligator.
Yeah.
So
cool.
No, that honorable
so
mention
original.
for sure.
Because their tones are a lot different than a lot of people use. Like
really,
their
I mean,
guitar
that's
tones
where I was
are
like,
kind of weird.
It's like
their vocal style is sort of unique. I mean, they're sort of the traditional death metal, but
it changes all throughout their discography. I mean, I would say, look, here's the thing: is Annihilation of the Wicked is not my favorite Nile album. It's an honorable mention. My favorite Nile album is For Whom the Gods Detest.
Ooh,
I think that has the funnest songs and the most energy, and I think because you had Annihilation Wicked, Phallic, which is, if you're a fan of
it's really cool too.
Carl Sanders specifically, that's the Carl Sanders album because he plays like the fretless 9-string dual necked thing.
Yeah,
there's a lot of weird fretless guitar stuff on that one. But For Whom the Gods Detest, I feel like it's like Annihilation of the Wicked Part 2.
Yeah.
Where it's like all kind of the same beats, but it's just polished and it's just angry. I used to work out to that one. Just so mean and pissed off. Not as, I want to say, like over the top with like the Egyptian stuff. It was a lot of riffs and a lot of like,
that's fair,
solid writing, and then after that it kind of falls off for me.
I did like the last one too. The newest one was pretty cool.
I really don't remember a lot of it. Maybe we'll have to revisit that. We'll do a Nile episode.
I like Nile.
Coronavirus. We have no fucking. We're not playing shows, so we just have time to sit around and talk about records.
Man,
so,
fucking A.
Whatever.
Is
that it?
I'm not looking forward to editing this, so
it's not going to be bad.
Says the guy that doesn't have to edit it.
Everybody comment. Leave comments. Tell Dan that he did a good job editing it because he probably did. Let's do the outro then. Right now.
Yeah. Woo!
Don't fuck up my steak dinner, Gary.